That's the word of happy. When you are in love, how can you be happy? When you are sharing your love with your loved ones, your children, your grandchildren, your family, and your friends, you find a lot of joy and happiness. When you share your love, the joy of love will coming back in a stream of happiness. The next letter we talk about is I for improvement. While we improve one step each time and 1% each day, you can find a lot of happiness. The next letter is for F, fairness. How many of you think that life is fair? Regardless that you feel life is fair or not, we must be fair in life. So life may not be fair to us. We must be fair in life. And the next letter is for E, education. When you're learning and teaching, how can you be unhappy? More importantly, when you're sharing your knowledge with your friends, students, or children, that rippling effect is going to benefit many, many generations to come. And that rippling effect can improve our society and make this a better world for us to live in. So when you are learning and teaching with education, we all can find a lot of joy and happiness. Those are nice paths for us to achieve our goals and find joy and happiness in our lifetime. And thank you for our ancestors to create this wonderful word of happy life so that we can live a happy life. We are talking about a lot of happiness and happy life in the last couple of years when I had the show in this studio. And I want to thank you for your support and watching. Today, I want you to call me if you have any life questions that I can learn, or maybe our audience can learn, or maybe some questions that you may have that I can help to answer and have a little discussion. How can we find joy and happiness in this world and around this hot time? Because we all have obstacles right now. A lot of people lost jobs, losing their health cares, losing their homes, and to some, that they lost their loved ones because tragedy or because of war. So life never meant to be easy. But regardless our situations in life, we must cherish what we already have and appreciate what around us. When we have a thankful mind and appreciation, then we have a better outlook in life, and we can have more of a willingness to help others and be more patient and find more passions, and so that we can continue to improve ourselves, sharing our love, and be fair, and continue to learn and educate. So, regardless what we do, let's talk about our issues and talk about our problems so that we can find a new floor for us to stand on. When you find a new floor and understand life better, we can always stand tall and find a new path to achieve our new goals, to have a better future for ourselves and for our loved ones and our next many generations to come. When you look back in human history, look at our ancestors, our parents, grandparents, teachers. Each one of them paved the way for us so that we can have this modern living. We have air conditioning, automobiles, credit cards, you name it. iPads, iPhones, televisions. We enjoy life so much more today than just 40 years ago, 400 years ago, or 4,000 years ago. So it's our duty to continue to better our future for our younger generations. Life, we can see things from many different perspectives. Today, I want to choose the word for fairness, and thank you for calling, friend. Good evening to you. My name is T.S. Chin. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Doing fine. Thank you for calling me, sir.
Now, I couldn't help finding a show to look at, and I was just wanting to have a comment, maybe a question that you can ask.
Certainly, I welcome you.
Being a businessman that I am, I try to market all businesses, including businesses like yourself. But what I find is when I go in and talk to businesses like yourself, I get negative feedback. So I was just wondering, would you have a method or an idea or a better way to target businesses like yourself that would give an entrepreneur like yourself the opportunity to present or to do business with you guys?
Okay. What kind of business are you doing, sir?
Oh, we do advertising.
Advertising.
We show businesses how to advertise their particular product or their services. It's taking money and doing that.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for calling. First of all, from a business point of view, when we visit a place, and a lot of people, it's easier for them to say no than yes. Is it true?
That's correct.
Right. And because if they say no, that's just the end of the story. If they say yes, then it means that they have to continue the conversation. They may or may not be busy. So first of all, then you have to find a time that you can think of maybe better for your clients or potential business person that you are engaging business with. When's the best time to talk to them? If you want to talk to a banker, the best time is not in the morning, maybe right after lunch. Okay? Because that's the time is more relaxed and they are more willing to listen. So because you want something from your banker, if you call them in the early morning, they have thousands of things in front of their table, do you think they have time to listen to you? So timing is everything.
Okay.
That's number one. Well, it's the best to make an appointment because regardless that they are in the business or not, to wait for you to come is more polite to send them a message in advance so that they can expect of you coming.
Okay.
Right? Right, because when you walk into any businesses, the unwelcome guests is some of the business people would like to ignore because time is valuable to them and they want you to show respect.
Sure.
Okay, so if you respect them, that's saying that I have a business plan or maybe a product that I would like to share with you, and I understand that your time is valuable. I only want to take a couple of your minutes and not influence with your businesses. When's the best time to come back or make an appointment in advance so that you can see me? So when you come in, maybe randomly to see a person, maybe sometime that you get lucked out. You say, well, I'm not too busy right now, and I can talk to you at this moment. Then you win out. But if he said, well, since that you want to make an appointment, maybe I'm busy today, how about tomorrow or next week? Then you got your foot into their door.
Absolutely. I sure appreciate that. Great idea.
All right, so that's number two. So the first one is timing. The second thing is respect. And the third thing is that you don't want to waste your time to conduct a business that you're not going to be find success. So you have to realize that the business that you're walking into, more importantly, is that they need your services.
Okay.
All right? So if you come into a place that, like cleaning the windows per se, if you can see the windows are sparkling clean and you see the janitor is already doing it, don't you think that you're wasting your time to walk into a business and try to solicit a business like that? Right? So you're talking with your skill and efficiency by knowing what your consumer and your customer need, then you provide that service to them so that you don't waste time and losing your valuable time and your resources, because traveling is expensive nowadays, don't you think? Right, so you don't want to, wasting your gas money by not, have a chance to talk to the right business person to conduct your business. So the next thing that you need to do is that you want to talk to multiple businesses in one setting, if you could. And that is take a little bit of skill and also a little bit timing and build up your platform so that you can do so. Or maybe you go into a businesses that they have multi-units so that you can talk to different owners at the same time while you are there. So the planning is very important. Okay, so the planning is important. And the last thing is that you must believe in your product. Okay. If you don't believe in your product, nobody will buy anything from you. So you learn as much as you can with your product, and what end result that you can benefit your end user, which your advertiser or your business owner, because they are there to listening to your pep talk. If you're not able to give them something they want, in the first 30 seconds, you are not going to win the battle. Okay. All right, so come up with one or two phrases that would be catchy and something that people would think that you are different than the guy that they saw 2 weeks ago. Okay. All right, because a lot of salespeople are doing the same thing. Like for example, if you go into a business that they may or may not need your product, you can tell them that, well, maybe my product costs a little bit more money, but don't you think the customer deserves that? Okay, so that will give the owner a new refreshing approach and idea that to consider your product because they believe that your product is a little bit better than the one that they are using now or the one that salesperson that they saw last week. So, I mean, those are the basic, typical examples that I can share with you, but, every customers are very unique. And sometimes that they had a bad day, that they say things that impolite to you, or they send you off the street, after maybe 30 seconds. Don't take anything negative feeling toward it. Because a lot of times that, especially today, my friend, we all had a lot of challenges. Absolutely. Right, and sometimes it's not because you or me or your friends that make those mistakes and people, shoot you away.
Yeah. Well, you certainly have given me some great pointers, and I'm glad I made this phone call.
Absolutely, I welcome you, and best of luck to you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Well, I want to thank you for calling. I hope that you can call back again if you can think about another question. And I've been in business for 42 years, and I've seen it all. I lost 3 deals in my lifetime, and each one of them, I lost millions. I don't mean to put a number there. I'm just laughing by myself. And sometimes I walk away from my misfortunate events and by kissing the floor and saying, thanks, but no thanks. And sometimes things that I cannot change, I have to walk away with grace and happiness. And that is the only way that we can find happiness in life. Because things that are beyond our control, we have to accept them and move on with our life. We cannot make any business deal work, otherwise everybody would be in business. But we should not give up, and we should never, never stop dreaming. Life starts with a dream. We all have a purpose in life. Without dream, it's better not living. What do you think if you live on no dream and no purposes? Would you rather have a dream and a purpose you fail every time? Because you are there experiencing life. Good, better, worse. Is it better than somebody that will have no dreams, no purpose in life, living like somebody that, sitting on a couch and doing nothing? So, regardless of purpose in life, go out and do something. Good, better, worse. Winning is not everything. I've been fallen many, many times in my life, but each time I got back up and I became stronger after each time that I fell. Because you learn from our mistakes. Do you think, ladies and gentlemen, that this world is easy? That someone hand you money or give you a business deal without you work hard at it? Sometimes we can improve our relationship with people. So the gentleman, when he called, that's another thing too. When you try to sell something, the best thing that you can sell is your trust. You are there for them. If you are able to offer a good service and a product that they need, they want you. So business is twofold. You offer something they want and they need it, there it is. They give you the business. And then you give you the referral as well. But things is a little bit difficult nowadays. People want to spend money and want to do advertising and buy an extra piece of furniture. They may or may not have the resources. So if you fail with your first attempt, be patient because people's lives are changing. Keep that cordial, respectful relationship and extend it continuously with your potential clients and customers and treat them like they're your friends. If the business didn't work, fantastic. If they're not working, just be patient. One of these days, they may call you when they need it or when they can afford it. So, never burn any bridges in life, especially in business. And your family, more importantly. So those are the 2 cents that I have for my friend. And the next thing that I want to talk to is that fairness. How many of you think that life is fair? Somebody call me if you think life is fair or unfair. What is your perspective about fairness? Anybody want to call and discuss about fairness? Or you just want to listen? My perspective about fairness. A friend of mine, his name is David. About a couple of years ago, and I was writing a book called Happy Life, and I wrote fairness. And my friend visited me and he said, "What are you writing?" I said, "I'm writing a chapter about fairness in life." He said, "Fair or unfair is never in my dictionary. I will not allow my family to say life is unfair or this is unfair and that was unfair." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah. You know, we have to make life out of what it was, with regardless how we see life, fair or unfair." That statement rang bell, and I learned from it. So nowadays, I see things from a different perspective. How many of you, ladies and gentlemen, that you drive on Highway 95, you only drive 64 miles per hour, and then everybody else is running like 75, and then you decided to follow the traffic flow. You're the only one stopped by the police, and everyone else on the motorway on 95 driving 95 miles per hour. Is it fair to you? How do you see it? You know, some people, like myself, had cancer surgery, you know, lost my wealth during the recession, lost my first grandchild. One thing right after the other in just a matter of months. Do you think that's fair? Other people, more tragedy, Japan, the earthquake, they not only lost home, their future, they may retain their life for now, but all the consequences, the hardship in the future, so worrisome. Life is full of obstacles and challenges. So we have to be patient when we see things unfavorable to us or feel those obstacles are unfair. A friend of mine, he lost his job from from one of the bigger company in Richmond, Virginia. And he said to me, "It's so unfair. We got 60-some employees, and I'm just the middle management. But why me? There's only 2 people got laid off, and I was one of them." And he felt very unfair, and his heart was broken. So was his wallet. Several months later, that he brought up the same subject, and I told him that I felt his pain, because life is about random. It happens to you, it happens to everybody, but if you are living in the past, look at you right now. That's what I told him. Not only that you are unhappy, the people around you, your family, your wife, they all felt the pressure from one event that you lost your job. Why don't you use the madness, unfairness feeling and to it to positive energy and think positive. And at least you have the family, good health, and you still have your strength and the knowledge. Why don't you go out and continue to work hard to search for a better job? He said, "There's no job out there. Gas is expensive. I don't want to spend the money to go search for a job, and if I send them emails and I send my application in through the internet, I never get any replies. I get tired and sick of it." And that was his reply. But you know what? If you're not willing to help yourself, nobody else can help you. So your mentality be, yes, life is difficult. We have a lot of obstacles out there, and I don't have a job now, but can I find a job, maybe paying me a little bit less money, or maybe I work a little bit harder? Find a way to believe in yourself and continue to improve, and don't mind working hard, even though you are out of a job for a year or 2 years. If that's not your fault, as long as you keep trying, that's all that matters in life. You know, it's not how much money you make. It's not about, how better of the other people comparing to yourself. As long as we can find our own flaw, we can find joy and happiness. As long as we believe in ourselves, continue our path to search for something better, and continue to have great personality and maintain our character, you will find that life is easier than you think. When you talk about money and joy and happiness, we are living in a world full of attractions, a lot of expenditures that may or may not necessarily doing good or bad time. So in our difficult times, we may enjoy life by reading a book, watching some televisions, talking to your friends. We may not need to go to nightclubs. We may not need to drink, 4 or 5 vodkas. And we may not need to buy a new car for now. But those goals that you want to have a better life have to be energized within yourself. So you may or may not get what you want, but the desire to improve your life while you're enriching the life of the other people need to be continued. So never give up, regardless of the situation. We can always find a better day tomorrow, or the day after, or the day after, the day after. We all have a bright future, especially when we are living in America. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that how many people in this world, living in a world that in such a situation that we cannot imagine of? People in some Asian country, even in China. You thought China was a upcoming country now. India, that you see a lot of those technical engineers, doctors, and IT specialists working in America. But in many of those places, Cambodia, Vietnam, many villages and countrysides they still don't have adequate medicines and education. Some places in Africa. Look at the places that we talk about having the earthquakes. In Haiti, I remember that I was talking to some of my audience a year ago. A group, the Virginia Government Managers Association of the State of Virginia, and talk about a dollar bill. I may have a dollar bill in my pocket, but it's irrelevant. You may just pretend this is a dollar bill. Most of us think this is only $1. May not matter in our lifetime. But you know, this $1 is 100 pennies. Don't you think that's important in lifetime? But it's all about perspective. When you need that dollar, this dollar is as important as half your life. But you have a lot of dollar bills, then it's become so insignificant. Happiness is the same thing. You see a lot of people that they have a lot of money, but they never smile. But at the same time, you see a baby girl, or maybe 4 or 5 years old, they may not have a lot. They may even work in the rice field in China or India or in Japan, wherever, or maybe in Haiti. They may not have school, but you know how happy that they are. When we are not comparing ourselves with other people, we always can find joy and happiness. And talking about that $1 right after the earthquake in Haiti several years ago, that was devastating. Such a tragedy. If you have a dollar and in Haiti at that time and you give someone that one single dollar bill, you know what? It can change his or her life. Because that same $1 bill can buy a meal or meals for the whole family and buy clean water for weeks. And now I think you have $1 in your pocket. Right? If not, you may have $100 in 2 weeks. Or maybe $1,000 when a tax return come in front of your door. Value everything that we have. Because in other places, they may not even have the same dollar that we can spend and give it away gracefully. So look at things from a different perspective. And thankful already what we have in our lifetime. Good, better, worse. Life is not about fairness, because things happen to you, can happen to me, and can happen to anyone. So I came up with a philosophy about fairness. When you say fair, we can not tell you why me or why not me. The better perspective is that just including me, just be part of the society, part of the family, part of the world. So, when you understand fairness better, then you can find a reason to be happy. One day, there's a person that he sees the world is not as bright as he wants to see it. So his friend told him, why don't you step one step and look at your room again? What do you see? Then he walked back one step and looked at the room again. Why don't you do that now, my friends? You stand in front of the television, right? Why don't you step back one step and take a look at your room? What do you see? It's going to be larger, brighter. As long as you're willing to take a walk back and see things again, it gives you a chance to reevaluate your situation. Good, better, worse. And give you more time to understand the situation. So when you get really upset, try to control it and not let it burn out of control. Just step back one step and give a little time and think about your next move or your that little small step that we walk back. When you're going out to the ocean side, when you walk back one step, you see the ocean that much more larger, the sky that much more broader. You can release your pressure so that you can find a little joy and happiness. So the trick or the wisdom of happy life or living a happy life is that when you have an unpleasant event, take a step back. Things can be worse. Am I right? You think about it. Let me give you a typical example about what I meant. When I had cancer, my doctor told me that, Mr. Chin, the biopsy told me that you have cancer in your prostate, and we suggest that you have surgery. The first thing come to my mind was fear. Even though it's prostate cancer, but still cancer. And evidently, the doctor thinks it's important enough for him to cut me up and remove my prostate so that I can get well. That's not a small challenge. But then I thought about it, and I told myself, what happened if I lived in a society 60 years ago, or maybe 7 years ago? During that time, nobody heard about the word of cancer. People heard about the word of tumor. They don't know how to deal with it. The fact that we are living in the 21st century, in the 2011 or 12, at least we have a chance to face our obstacles and problems and have the knowledge, knowing how to deal with it. True, we cannot win all battles, but our chance has been improved. So I felt better. And secondly, with today's new technology, the medicine development, it gave us much better chance to face this fearful disease, which if it happened to us maybe 20, 30 years ago, we have less opportunity to survive. So the timing was on our side. And we are continuing to improve with new technology and new medicines, and thank to our ancestors, our grandparents, our parents, our teachers, our co-workers, colleagues. Everybody is moving one step on the betterment of human race to all of us. So when I wrote that book, Happy Life, I said, we have a mission in life. What was that? Is to better our lives while we are enriching the life of other people. Regardless of your purpose in life, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a salesman, you want to be the best salesman that you can, and make some major accomplishment in life. If you are a politician, you want to become the President of the United States. If Mr. Bush can do it, why not you? If Mr. Obama can do it, why not you? We all can have dreams. Somebody has to be the President of the United States. If you just want to be a good fireman or a policeman, that's admirable. That purpose is serving our community. If you want to become a teacher, you know how many great teachers that we have in our society and in our history? Mr. Confucius was one of the teachers that we all respect and admire of. His teaching changed the dynamic of Chinese culture. What Mr. Confucius taught us the most is respect, understand our achievements with grace, be loving your family and friends, and more importantly, to serve the people in your country. Those are very kind of simple missions, But those of us, if we can achieve our goal and find a purpose in life, we are winning our battles already. And I want to share another wisdom with you from one of the quotes. Good evening. Thank you for calling. T.S. Chin speaking.
Yes, very interesting show, and thank you for your insight on life in general.
Thank you.
One of the things I wanted to say that also Confucius added was to accept life on life's terms. That was one of the most important things in my mind that he brought out in his writings, was to accept life on life's terms. Do not try to change things that you cannot change. Accept things that you can change. You know what I mean? And that was very important, and that has been incorporated in a lot of different philosophies throughout the world.
Thank you.
This would be one of the first ones, including with Jesus Christ, putting it in that type of doctrine that accept things that you can't change and that you cannot change, and accept life on life terms. You know, that was just to reiterate a piece of the puzzle of what Confucius' writings were, you know.
Thank you.
He was also looked upon as a revolutionary in his time and wasn't accepted by the government of his time, but people accepted him more than the government did.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wise words. Thank you. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Confucius is a very admirable scholar in Chinese history, and I read some of his proverbs and sayings. And time change, but the great philosophy always remain in our society and going to benefit many generations to come. And accepting life term, and there is different perspective about that, because unless that we continue to improve ourselves, and life term is not about acceptance, life term is about understanding. Let me explain to you. Things already happened, we cannot change. So we have to accept, and we have to move on with our life, with understanding, forgiveness, and or accept it as part of life. On the other hand, life term that is the unknown in front of us, we should find a reason to believe in ourselves and continue to help others to achieve their goals, so that we can benefit Mr. Confucius' wisdom. The term is predetermined, but what is undetermined, we can work hard to make that change so that we can benefit ourselves while we benefit the other people. Let me give you a little illustration. If we were given, let me see this, I have a pen here. Let me give a little illustration to you, ladies and gentlemen. You see, this is a pen, and if this, imagine, is a long spoon, okay, we walk into a room, you, me, and maybe another 20 friends sitting around a large table, and our spoon is connected to our arms and hands, that we cannot move without the spoon moving, or the spoon cannot move unless that our arm was moving. Imagine this. We're sitting in a big, huge round table with a big, big bowl of delicious food right sitting on the center of the table. We all want to eat it. So we reach out to that bowl of food and we try to bring that spoon back and eat it. But you know what? If this spoon is not able to turn without my arm because it's tied right into it, how can I bring it back to feed myself? I can't. Can you imagine that? How difficult? Because this is one straight line because they tie into my long spoon. Ladies and gentlemen, if you accept that as faith that you cannot eat your food, think again. Because we can use the same spoon and feed our neighbors and friends, can we not? Because it's such a long spoon. Try it. Think about it again. If I cannot feed myself, but I can dip into the food, and they can be shared with family and friends around me, because it's a long spoon. Do we need to accept our fate for ourselves? When we have other visions, when we think about helping ourselves, think again, help other people. That open a new door for you. Will you agree with that? Because after you feed your friends, they're going to feed you. Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Jim.
Yes.
I was wondering, do you think that nutrition plays a good part in having a happy life, the things that you put inside of your body? I think that has a lot, and if you think so, can you tell me some really good foods that would stimulate the brain and the body system?
All right. Well, that's two questions. May I answer one at a time? Because it's two kinds of food in life. One food is going into our body, and the other food is going to our mind to help our spiritual development. Would you agree with that, sir? All right. Well, thank you. Probably hang up already. Well, let's think about this. We have two kinds of food. Food for thoughts and food for our body. What are the great food that helps us? Other than the old great-grandma recipe, the chickens, the vegetables, and all that, the Chinese remedy always tells us balance. Balance is the key to a lot of things. Good health and happiness as well. What do you mean for balance? If you think the chicken is the best meal for someone, or the egg, then if you eat too much of it, then it will be not going to be helping your body. Maybe too much cholesterol, maybe too much fat. So find a balanced meal, have some good food during breakfast, like milks and cereals. Lunch, get some fish. And maybe dinner, some veggie and some meat. And I think in Chinese culture, where I was growing up in Hong Kong, we ate 80% vegetable and about 20% meat. You know why? Because when I was growing up, the meat was so expensive. So does not mean that they are not healthy. We make up with the rice. The rice gives us a lot of starch, energy. It is the motorizing substance in our body to help us to absorb more nutrients from other foods. Let me tell you how I was growing up and what kind of food I ate during one summer. My mother cooked a chicken leg on soy sauce over white rice for me. I was so excited. I have not ate chicken for a while. It smells so good. My mom took the chicken leg on the side and said, son, you're going to eat this chicken leg soy sauce rice first. I was happy to do so. I ate the last piece of the rice. Delicious. I said, Mom, can I eat the chicken leg now? She said, son, let's save it for tomorrow because I can steam the chicken leg with the soy sauce for you again. I said, okay, it tastes great. So next day I asked my mother, can I eat that chicken leg now? She said, let's do it tomorrow because I want you to eat this tasty chicken leg soy sauce rice. not so happy, but I obeyed. So I ate my third day, the whole bowl of white rice with soy sauce. So the fourth day, I looked at the chicken leg. It's getting smaller. So I said, Mom, after I eat dinner, finish eating this rice, can I have that chicken leg? She said, yes. I was so happy. So I was finishing that bowl of rice quickly, and then I ate that chicken leg. It tastes like rubber. No taste, hard, chewy. I said, Mom, this is not chicken leg. And I saw her tears in her eyes. She said, son, I know, but if I allow you to eat that chicken leg 3 days ago, you would not have eaten the rice, because the rice would be so bland, so plain, and you would eat it without the chicken meat juice along with the rice. And I understood. I was about 67 years old. So I dipped that chicken leg into the soy sauce, and I began eating it. Smile was on my face. So was my mother. All of a sudden, that chicken leg tastes 10 times better, my friends. Isn't it amazing? It's up in your mind what is good food is all about. When you cannot change a meal, enjoy it. Ever since that time, I don't waste any of my meals. At one point, I was a very successful business person. I employed about 200 people, several businesses. And at lunchtime, I had a lot of meetings. People come in and see me. I delayed my lunch. My food was cold, sitting there until 5 p.m. But you know what? I came back and ate it, and I enjoyed it. Good evening to you. This is T.S. Chin.
How you doing, Master Chin?
Good evening to you, sir.
That story that you just said has two meanings.
Mm-hmm.
The meaning that I just money. Anybody, no matter what they have done, they can change their life.
Yes, sir.
And the other thing that I get from the Master Chin is your family, your mom and them, they really be careful. If you look back at the things they've done, when you were coming up, you really can appreciate and see that the love that they had for you.
Thank you. I treasure it.
I understand what you're saying about how mom only took that chicken leg and you kept asking for it, but you needed to use it because you knew that you would not eat that rice and soy sauce without that flavor in it.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, a lot of mothers and stuff, they knew things way back then that just are being taught today to the kids of today. That's why this country is in so much of an uproar, because they're not being taught the things that they used to be taught.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Master Jim. And if you can teach anybody anything, you're the person that can do it, Master Jim.
Thank you so much for calling. Your call meant so much to me. Matter of fact, during that episode, my mother told me that when she was, running away from the Second World War, at one point she had no food to eat for almost 4 days. And she felt how hungry and how desperate her family were doing at that time. That's why she don't want me to feel the same hunger. And it's very true. I learned so much from my mother. And you know what? We had the recession in our country back in the 20s and right after the Second World War. People's harmony and so much tighter, because that's one thing I discovered is during bad times, right after the Second World War, right after the earthquake in Japan, people have much more empathy and more heart, more willing to help other people. We need to remind our children, we need to remind ourselves that every one of us have a chance to face obstacles and need help in our lifetime. We must respect these people with care, with love, and with understanding. Regardless who we are, what we do, and how difficult it seems, it's our shared responsibility to continue to help others and find happiness for ourselves and for other people. What a better way to help others? Is to smile to them. And I think this is a very important lesson too, because sometimes that we are in such a hard time or in bad shape that we don't remember how to smile to ourselves and to other people. But you know what? Smiling is our strength. Smiling gives us the power to face obstacles. When you have problems or somebody has problems, you know, you smile with grace, understanding, genuinely, people can appreciate it. And sometimes life is so hard, we may not even want to smile to the next person because bad things happen to our life and our family and our friends. It's difficult to show your happy life and your happy face every single moment. Even though I wrote a book, I admit, only when you are going out to help others, only if you are having a positive attitude, only if you are having patience, only if you are passionate in what you do, only if you are believing in yourself, saying, yes, we can, only if you can share your love continuously with your loved one, your family, and your friends, only if you continue to improve yourself, and only if you can understand life is fairness. Life may not be fair to us, but we must be fair in life. Only if we are able to continue to learn and share our wisdom and our philosophies and learning, those are the great paths to achieve our goal, our dreams, and more importantly, help us to live a happy life. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to speaking to you today, and with your encouragement, and if we work together to help each other, to inspire each other, we are able to live in a better world. We are already living in a wonderful place in America. But by understanding life better, sharing the principle of how we can live a happy life to our next generation, to our family and friends, the message is what matters. It's not about you or me. It's not about a single person. It's about this world and our many generations to come. Because we cannot ignore and forget what we have today. Clothing, automobile, sunglasses, medicine, and TV, automobile. We can provide for ourselves. Those technology were built on by our ancestors, their wisdoms and their experiences, and they impart and relay and taught us for many things that we learn. So continue to teach what you have learned to others, and believe in ourselves. We can make a difference in life. Regardless, this is a big lesson or small lessons. Anyone can make a difference in other people's life. Make a very long story short. Two gentlemen walk along the seashore. One old man saw a lot of fish was ready to die after a big thunderstorm. He picked up one fish and threw it back to the ocean. The young man said, "What are you doing, sir?" He said, "I'm trying to save the fish." The young man said, "There are thousands of fish here. How can we make a difference?" Then the older gentleman picked up another fish and threw it back to the ocean and said, "I make a difference to that one." Don't ever underestimate your talent and your ability. Go out to make a difference. And I want to thank you so much for listening, and wish you all have a really happy life. And you can email me, happylifebook@yahoo.com, for any question that you may have, or Facebook me, and it would be delighted to have you as my Facebook friend, or go to YouTube, type in T.S.Chin, as on your screen to watch some of the YouTube that I present. Have a wonderful evening. I thank you.